Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Buy-to-let investors could soon find it harder to raise funds. The Bank of England says it wants lenders to make more stringent tests before authorising mortgages. The bank is worried that the growing number of buy-to-let sales is overheating the housing market. Our economics correspondent Andy Verity has this report.
Signs of an old fear about the housing market returning to haunt us. In 1988, a rush to buy ahead of tax changes caused a housing market boom which turned to bust. Now it's buy-to-let landlords rushing to beat a big hike in stamp duty next week. For every estate agent branch, there are 463 house hunters, the highest number for 12 years. Here is what the Bank of England's worried about. Buy-to-let landlords borrowed more than £40 billion just before the crisis. That's that bar there. Now, last year, we were already nearly back up to that level, and it's speeding up. Lenders say they expect it to grow by 20% this year and next. That's another £100 billion of buy-to-let lending. Now, they say lenders aren't all asking the right questions before they lend, so they're ordering them to tighten up their standards. Borrowers must be able to afford a hike in interest rates to 5.5%. And where borrowers have to chip in their own money to cover the mortgage, that income must be verified. And lenders must make sure borrowers can afford not just the mortgage, but the tax payments. What's worrying, perhaps, is that after the boom and bust we've had, there are still lenders who aren't doing that already.
I think our members would broadly be happy that this is a proportionate approach from regulators, but at the same time, because it is a balancing act, we would want to see regulators keeping a close eye on all these different interventions they're making to make sure they don't overdo putting the brakes on the buy-to-let market.
Another blow for buy-to-let landlords was the restriction on tax relief for the interest they pay on their mortgages, announced in this month's budget. Now it's not just the Chancellor, but the Bank of England bearing down on them.
I feel like this is an unnecessary crackdown on buy-to-let lending by the Bank of England. George Osborne has already seriously put the brakes on buy-to-let with the tax changes that he's brought in. And what the Bank of England is doing now is far too late. Anyway, most lenders already have the kind of stress tests on lending that the Bank of England is talking about bringing in.
But the Bank of England says the biggest risk to financial stability is the referendum on Europe. It warns that heightened uncertainty surrounding the vote could force up borrowing costs across the economy. Andy Verity, BBC News.
I've been getting away with it.